Здравствуйте, с вами Андрей. Мы продолжаем играть в Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. И, кстати, давайте проверим, последнее это дело или нет. Рейтинг личности тайны Самментейн, да, у нас. Что-то я очень добрый в этом прохождении. Не знаю почему. Так. Портреты персонажей. Да. Это последнее дело, потому что я очень сомневаюсь, что может быть какое-то дело без портретов персонажей, значит все. На этом деле наши приключения в этой игре, наверное, и закончатся. Хотя фиг его знает, может быть, последнее расследование как-то очень хитро открывается. Так, раскройте преступление на Халфман-стрит. Свидетелями Лейтона и осмотрите его вещи. Окей.
Holmes, poor little Wiggins needs our help.
Окей. Соответственно, поехали на Халфман-стрит, будем разбираться. Я-то думал. Да. Красиво, блин, а. Красивая игра. Ударом, что маленькая, она там и красивая. Так. Так, тоже мне не дают сюда идти.
Locked.
Отлично.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Боже.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, it was Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Окей. Попозже.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Понятно.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me. The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance. This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Так, проверим.
A piece of wood that has stuck but... This shard of wood is quite new.
Окей.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant.
Так.
The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vacotti must have done some time there. Brian Vacotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story?
Ну-ну. Ветеран Крымской войны, говоришь? Если ты виноват в убийстве, я тебя посажу. Ну, пофиг. Точнее, не посажу, а навесить отправлю. Ты попал, короче, чувак. Я так понимаю, что он на войне рано заработал.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with the gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Окей.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Тернера. Речевые показания. Тернер настаивает, что стоял у окна до прибытия полиции, однако это противоречит показаниям констебля Мэроу, который не видел никого у окна. Искать квартиру. Окей. Круто ты попал, Тернер, на ТВ. Так, получил, окей. Ой. Сейчас мы... Прошу прощения. Ой, блин. Так. Ага. Починка ботинок высшего класса Торн. Давайте посмотрим. Вот это вот еще дура есть.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Okay.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
Okay.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Так, а ты кто? Понятно. Особенно не...
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street. Locked. Locked.
Mr. Holmes,
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Так.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago. The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago. The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Вся проблема в том, что нам этого Тернера слишком быстро подсовывают.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the
Слишком
victim.
быстро его подсовывают, значит он, скорее всего, не виноват считается. Да мне пофиг, я его все равно посажу. Ну ладно, посмотрим, кого посадим, может это еще более достойная личность. Так.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed. This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper. So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Давайте посмотрим.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Так. Может быть.
it didn't happen this way.
Окей, попробуем еще раз. Так. Чё ты делаешь? Так.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Не очень понятно.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Ну, он сказал, что бумагу недавно, может быть, бумагу он последний бросал. Давайте попробуем еще раз. Встал с кровати, это первый раз. Первое. Очевидно, да? Значит, теперь. Вот нафига он резал бумагу ножом, а потом... Окно. Так, может быть, тогда подошел к трупу, а потом открыл окно. Кстати, тоже вариант. Нет.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Да нет, вроде как я тут все улики я обнаружил. Хотя бы говорили, да какой это, да какой я правильно делаю. Встал с кровати. Поставил сломанную трость. Когда он с улицы вернулся, он поставил, это понятно. Что-то в камень. Весил бумагу ножом. Открыл окно. Шел к трупу. Давайте только побыстрее, а. Что-то я вообще запутался.
No, it didn't happen this way.
У меня улик полтора землекопа. На самом деле. Сначала он зачем-то резал. Или там, не знаю. То есть он и резал, и сжигал бумагу. Странно. Это очень странно. Так. Это сломанную трость он уже поставил, да? То есть, как бы, сначала-то он трость взял, очевидно, да? Да нет, я так уже пробовал делать. Побыстрее.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Он что-то взял у трупа, да. Так. Он что-то взял у трупа. Так. Трость, ну, что он строит? Хотя с другой стороны, чего трость? Трости, хрен его знает, как он по дому-то ходит. Может, опирается на... Ну давай. Очень долго. Вариантов на самом деле довольно дофига, как он это делал. Последовательность.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Так. Резать. А что он резал-то? Резал, потом сжигал. Сжигал, потом резал. Так, давайте по-другому разбираться. Значит, сначала он встал. Потом он, наверное, открыл окно. Потом он подошел к трупу. Потом он поставил это. Потом он резал. Потом он сжигал. Так, нормально? То есть он сначала выглянул, потом скоммунизировал что-то. Значит, потом решил это... Поставил трость. Решил это порезать. Потом решил жить. Так, похоже...
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find? I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book.
What are you... Sure.
A bracelet with unique...
Ну чё, товарищ? Садиться будем, не?
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
А кто скоммуниздил?
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
Сажай,
This,
сажай,
Mr.
сажай.
Turner, does not look like
Сажай его.
anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
Ага.
No, merely
What are you?
correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad.
Ты русских
I'm just a
убивал,
poor man.
сволочь.
When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal.
Черт.
Believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Ну как, вообще государству надо все это сдавать по закону. Я думаю, что в Англии тоже есть какие-то меры на этот счет. Ладно, хрен бы с ними. Так. Так. То есть де-факто у нас только... Лейтона. Окей. Так, сперва посмотрим в архив, потом допросим. Скопить. Это прекрасное старинное украшение является частью коллекции сокровищ эллинизма. 5 голов овнов изображены на браслете, ожерелье и кольце, каждый выполнен из чистого золота. 5 овнов Метилена были похищены из музея в 1885 году.
Here it is.
Вот
I
так,
need to
так.
continue my research in my archives.
Так, сокровище эллинизма. Так, это... Где-то. Вчера вечером во время перевозки из Британского музея на выставку изобразительного искусства в Гласфорде были похищены сокровища эллинизма. Владелец ломбарда Кеннет Батлер связался с полицией и рассказал джентльменам, пытавшимся продать им коллекцию старинных вещей, принесенную ему в ломбард на Чёрч-стрит. Полиция вскоре задержала подходящего под описание мужчины. Им оказался профессиональный грабитель Винсент Фолли, как раз предпринявший попытку сбежать из Лондона через порт. Его познал выживший водитель кэба, которым привозили сокровища эллинизма. Винсент Фолли отказался сообщить, где именно он спрятал украденный драгоценность. Ему назначен тюремный срок. Украденные сокровища до сих пор не обнаружено.
One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Окей. Давайте все-таки пообщаемся с куклотрядом.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Так, сейчас мы из этих вещей как раз выведем все, что можно. Так, Морг нам не нужен. Стафру. Это единственное.
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Да. Показания свидетелей о орудии убийства указывают на то, что виновник Лейтон Чапман. Из разных частей Халфман-стрит. Там что их было 3 сначала. Фиг его знает. Ну подождите вы меня куда-то отправлять. Еще пообщаться надо. Включённый.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Угу. Ну-ну.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was
Urka,
late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it. And then I followed the third man.
А нафига ты? О, боже.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming.
О, Господи.
And then I was caught by the police.
Да.
But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess.
Понятно.
Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
Да, уж точно впечатляющий.
Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket.
Окей.
He was quite average in size and his weight.
I
Короче,
see.
ничего,
Was there
скорее
anything
всего,
else
не
that
скажет.
struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away.
Ага. То есть у него какая-то
Perhaps it's because of
специальная
the
обувь,
fireworks
наверное.
or the surprise of me seeing him.
Хотя зачем?
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be
боже мой.
arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman
Сидели
well,
же
did you not?
вместе.
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr.
Не, главное,
Holmes.
урки делают себе татушки, а потом удивляются, когда
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
опознают, что они
Convicted for a
сидели.
robbery. Once in prison, both of us
Шерлоком, в
joined one
общем-то,
of these
быть не надо.
fraternities.
Если человек в татухах,
During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young
то
then,
как
I
бы
believe.
Yes, Mr.
тюряга
Holmes,
один из самых вероятных вариантов.
We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him.
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Жестокое убийство на Халфмун-стрит было совершено Лейтоном Чапманом по мотивам личной вражды. Человек, описанный Лейтоном Чапманом, плод его воображения, созданный, чтобы оправдать себя. То есть это бесспорные улики? М-м-м. То есть его по-любому надо задержать? То есть в смысле отдать под казнь? Что там, не знаю. Так. Так, ну что, поехали в ломбард туда? посмотрим, что это. Зайти нельзя, это не ломбард. Стоп, я правильно поехал? Я правильно поехал.
The door is locked, but Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly. Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer. A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor. The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 rams of Middling collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft. It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Здорово, Кеннет. Помнится, ты как-то сказал мне о 3 украшениях. Золотые с головами овнов из Древней Греции. Они еще у тебя? У меня хорошие новости. Я нашел человека с деньгами, который с ума сходит по таким штукам. Он готов твалить небольшое состояние. Я могу устроить тебе встречу с этим денежным мешком, но ты поделишься заработком. Буду ждать тебя на углу Большой аллеи Халфман-стрит с воскресенья вечером до начала салюта. Брайан в Иркуте. Окей. Вот он и в Иркуте. Ну мы тут вроде все смотрели. Так, это альпинизм. Драгоценности. Мотив грабеж. Обретение исчезнувших сокровищ организма могло стать мотивом убийства. Сортер разобрал браслет сразу. Вспоминай. Здравствуйте. Ограбление. Не, ребят. Это я делать не буду. Хотя, в общем-то, все это укладывается в эту картину. А что так? А если по-другому сделать? О, а что я могу сделать с этими фактами? Ничего нельзя сделать. Двойное убийство. Так. Так, Кен Батлер и Брайан Веркоти, возможно, выстрелили друг в друга. Ну что, посмотрим. Как это можно сделать? Ай.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Так, а что, с Виггинсом можно поговорить? Может, он что-то...
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
Так, сейчас с Виггинс.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard?
Видел.
Is he all right?
Ну как он в порядке? Относительно. Фингал-то будет. Еще долго, наверное. Стрелка. Чё? А чё? Что это такое?
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp. This should be useful. This is most definitely a bullet hole.
След
The
от
brick
пуляки.
cracks are fresh.
Прикольно.
Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
А, то есть факт стал неоднозначным. Вот оно что. Понятно.
Brian
Так, секунду. Знаете что? А это что такое? Исчезнувший человек. Заявление лейтенанта Чапмана об одетом в пиджак человеке, сбежавшем с места преступления, выглядит правдоподобно. 3 выстрела доказывают наличие второго пистолета, не обнаруженного до сих пор. Что надо делать? Говорить с концертом.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Что, надо прятаться, что ли? Стелс! О боже. Привет, Холм.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Если мы примем, что на Халфман-стрит в момент убийства был еще один человек, то он мог удрать только вверх по стене. Смоделируем его действие, устроим похожую вспышку и вскарабкаемся по стене. Ниндзя! Но делать мы это уже будем в следующей серии. Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, комментируйте. Дальше будет еще интереснее. С вами был Андрей. Всем пока.